Okay. Something extremely important happened, I don't know, 3, 4 days ago. We have the Dutch multinational company called ASML, which produces lithographic machinery to print chips for artificial intelligence and all that thing. And we had ASML investing, I think, $1.5 billion or euros in the French government, de facto government owned or privately managed artificial intelligence company called Mistral. So ASML becomes maybe the major shareholder of Mistral. Now, why is that important? Now, who is ASML? Why is ASML important? What happened is that ASML was just a company, normal, listed, I think, in the Dutch stock exchange in Amsterdam. I'm not sure where. And all of a sudden, in 2018, I think, the Pentagon ordered that ASML would not be shipping stuff, lithographic machines to China. So, what? Oh, what? Basically, no politician in the Netherlands knew about ASML. Pentagon knew they were controlling, they still control ASML, but no one knew. Once the Pentagon did that, I think it was via the government, it was actually the Pentagon. Well, all of a sudden, Dutch politicians said, oh, ASML exists? We knew nothing about it. Since that time, ASML has become a focal point of contention between US and China, because China uses ASML lithographic machines to produce chips, and ASML machines can be remotely controlled, shut off, and they need very heavy maintenance as well, which is being withheld from the Pentagon towards China. And I think recently the Dutch did some kind of laws that it's the Dutch government that would prevent ASML from shipping stuff to China, not the American government, not the Pentagon any longer. But it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. Why is that extremely important? Since most of the AI technology is American-centered, we had Alex Karp, the major shareholder and the CEO of Palantir, which works basically number one contractor for the Pentagon, the CIA, and the NSA, and the FBI, saying that nobody's calling me from Europe. He said it like a week ago, and he wanted them to call him on speed dial. Self-evidently, Europe, quote-unquote Europe, there's no such thing as Europe. But again, when I say Europe, I mean Paris, Berlin, Paris, London, and Rome. That's Europe, and put in Warsaw as well, Poland now. But let's say these four. The rest are irrelevant. They just follow the lead. Particularly now with the Merz in power, it's a Berlin-led Europe, right? But even Paris is extremely important. So, what is happening now that instead of Europe, quote unquote, going to Palantir and Alex Karp to beg him, they are getting technology transfer from the United States of America to Europe, to Mistral. So we have de facto a technology transfer facilitated by the Pentagon, underpinning what I have called the Euroamerican Union. And that is inevitable since Obama, when he decided to break with the normal as a chief project manager, he wanted to shut down, to destroy the relationship, the deals with the Gulf Arab countries. He opened to Iran. And Obama delayed striking Iran from 2013. He invented the Iran talks. He achieved the Iran deal, which was not a deal, right? There was no deal. It just basically pretended to be a deal. He just implemented what the Senate had allowed him to do. But what he achieved, he extended, he protracted, he sabotaged bombing of Iran that the Senate and the Pentagon wanted to do. And then Trump took over, Trump won, and he did the exact same thing. Right? He protracted, he sabotaged that, he wanted to make his own deal. And then when Biden came to power, we had the wrong-line presidency because Biden was incapacitated for the first 2 years. Then we had the Jake Sullivan presidency, the second two years. They didn't bother much. They couldn't do anything. So we have now Trump 2 presidency, which not insidiously but openly is in a civil war against the Pentagon, and wants to break off the relationship of America with the Allies, to destroy the empire, the supply chain empire, and to implement Bannon's view of the American ethnicity, American nationalism. That has incapacitated the United States of America to have any global influence any longer. It no longer has it because it shifts resources from Asia to Ukraine and the Middle East, because it can no longer cover that. And the main reason is, of course, the Chinese trade embargo of components and the rare earths and the PCBs, the printed circuit boards. So we are at a situation that the United States cannot exist on its own because China now is too large. Europe, again, when I say Europe, is Paris, London, Rome, and headed by Berlin, all of that. Maybe put Warsaw, Poland in there as well. Cannot exist on their own. So we are talking a process of a Euroamerican Union in which the United States of America, meaning the Pentagon and the Senate, are transferring power and decision-making to these 4 countries. Because there is no other way around it. You have to do that. Again, Berlin is the chair of this group of Europe. Friedrich Merz, who was Henry Kissinger's pupil, quote unquote, and was Pentagon's man in Berlin. And finally, he won against Merkel, a Russian asset, Merkel being Russian asset, and Friedrich Merz being an American asset. So we have now a process of decision-making transfer from Washington, D.C. to Berlin, Paris, Rome, and London, as well as and that would entail technology transfer. It would entail also that Europe would send soldiers to Ukraine, because the Americans don't want to do that. So once you prevent yourself from sending soldiers to the war zone, that automatically you give up power partially, and you transfer decision-making power and technology to the countries who are taking over that burden. So we have a Euro-American Union underway, which is, again, quite similar to Rome. When, after Caracalla signed the edict about the free citizens of the empire, becoming citizens of Rome because they needed soldiers, which led to the Albanian-born emperors later, and so on and so forth. Or the Holy Roman Empire, the Habsburgs led Holy Roman Empire, which after they were destroyed by Napoleon, they made this deal with the Hungarian crown. So we had Austria-Hungary union, which is quite similar, and the union now, which is Washington D.C., Berlin, is quite similar to the union between Austria and Hungary. And Napoleon now would be basically Xi Jinping, right? Xi Jinping destroyed the global outreach of the American empire. So Americans are no longer capable of having a global outreach, a military global outreach and a supply chain global outreach. So we have Xi Jinping as Napoleon, which is now forcing Washington D.C. and Berlin and Paris and Rome and London merging, similar to Vienna and Budapest in the I think it was 1815, something like that. I don't remember exactly. Or similar to Rome yielding power to other centers in the 3rd century, other important or less important, but then later became more important centers after Caracalla's edict. So this is where we're at right now. That is why the ASML investment in Mistral is extremely, extremely, extremely important, because even the last fort, which was the artificial intelligence knowledge, which was up until now strictly America-centered, now is being transferred to Europe as well. And this is on top of the F-35 supply chain and on top of the ammunition supply chain. It's not just, we have now Europeans actually shifting means of production to America or expanding to America in order to produce ammunition as well. Rheinmetall and even Czech companies are doing that, from Czechia. So all in all, this is absolutely major news if you knew the supply chains, but it's just a headline news just for stock market, irrelevant news for anyone else. But this is big, like ASML becoming a major investor in Mistral. Okay, then for short term, again, 5 years, everything is bad. Everything will get worse. No light at the end of the tunnel. Have no hope. The worst is yet to come. Bye-bye.